Good afternoon. We are happy you could make it to the program. The program is Nigeria Now, where we look at what is happening presently in the country. Quite a number of things have happened in the country, which we'll just pick a few and see how we can actually digest it together and then provide solutions if there is any. Feel free to drop your comment on Facebook, also on YouTube, and then you can stream live and also let your loved ones also join us live on the program. My name is Sela Elisha Dasham, and I'll be doing the program alongside Rachel Tazi. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Sela.
All right, we have a number of issues on our table this afternoon, Rachel, and I'd like us to dive straight into the matter at hand. Starting with the civil servants in Niger State, we're seeing that they are saying as of tomorrow, 8 a.m., they are going to embark on a strike. And they mentioned quite a number of things which they felt that the governor has not met. And then they feel that it is important that the governor actually meet some of their demands, talking about, I mean, immediately I saw demands, I couldn't help but reflect back to the issue in Imo State, where we saw it was a chapter there where the governor did not do what he was expected to do. And then we saw when the national body had to swing into action regarding that. And now we're seeing that a fraction of the labor in Niger State also are going to start on the hardship. They are mentioning a number of things, looking at the hardship that's happening, and then calling on the attention of the governor to actually do something about it. So that is to say, the governor have from now till hopefully 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. tomorrow to actually do something about it, or else they will be embarking on a strike. And we saw, I think yesterday also, we saw that the University of Ekiti, the hospital, have actually embarked. The resident doctors, they are already on indefinite strike. So quite a number of things are happening. I mean, when you look at in the midst of the hardship, the chaos, I mean, Nigeria, the federal government telling labor not to go on strike, which they are supposed to start that strike by next week, or a protest, however they want to start. We're saying that already Niger State will be starting a strike by tomorrow if the governor does not do something about the demand that is on his table presently.
It's not surprising, Sela, that we are beginning to have different states retaliate differently to what is going on, the hardship in the country. We saw that over your state, where we have people taking the street, holding placards and all of that, and saying enough is enough concerning the hardship. However, now we are seeing that that of Niger State is Labour Party, the state branch chapter, that is going to go on that strike. And then is the fact that it is a very short notice for the government, but looking at the things that they've put in place and then the time frame in which it has taken and nothing coming from the government, I don't believe that it is a short time. They are just putting the government on their toes and wanting them to act really fast, meaning there are promises that came from the state government. They're not supposed, they haven't seen it, which also at the state government level is the wage award. We are seeing also the same at the federal government level, and then many other things. I mean, for those their demands from the federal government is really large and wide. It even goes down to teachers and what they feel is going on, degrading of teachers and all of that. And I believe it has to do with wages, and all of that is vast. And it's important to see that that labor at Niger State is not just focused on civil servants or themselves, but they're spreading it to all kind of workforce, every labor kind of force in the country, in the states precisely. And I believe that that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be limited. This is an eye-opener. They need to enlarge their territories or their coast, because we kept on talking how, you know what, even people working under the capital market and giving their workforce there and all of that are not under the Nigerian labor. Now, I am looking forward to seeing what the state government in Niger will do concerning this demand. Now, they clearly stated that they are open for negotiation. For me, the worry, Sele, is that looking at the current situation in Nigeria and looking at the long rope, the endure this, we feel your pain, we are coming in, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, and nothing. The question is, if eventually the state government, because just as you said, they have now till 7:59 a.m. tomorrow, And the question is, if they do not step in, what can the government do? We've raised this kind of question so many times here on the show, and we said, what is it that the government can do without in less than 24 hours that they were not able to do it in months and in weeks? And then if labor now finally say, in as much as they are open for negotiation, they're trying to tell the government, okay, we still want to listen to you. But why do you want to listen? Shouldn't their talk be their action? Because what if he comes and by 8 o'clock he said, okay, let's negotiate? Automatically it means you can't go on that strike because you are now in negotiation. So should you say you're open for negotiation or you are open for action? I believe that this is a point where it's not negotiation you should be open to. You should be open to action. What are you going to do now that we will see the dividend before 8 a.m. on Wednesday tomorrow that will make us not to go on that strike? Not negotiation. Haven't you talked enough? Are you not tired of talking? I just want to see Labour Congress in this country putting their foot down and making the government act. If you know for sure that if Labour should go on strike, it's going to plunge the economy more, then do something about it. But if you're not doing anything about it, then it means there's nothing that will happen regardless of their action. So why don't Labour go on that strike and see what the government will do, what will be of the economy, if truly things will become worse, and then if the government will act quickly because they don't want to see the economy in a worse shape than what it is already now. Now, I believe that what Labour should be saying is no negotiation. We are open to see your action. And that is the way forward. Anything, you can't keep doing things the same way and expect a different result. You can't keep negotiating and expect the government to act. Take your action. Let them act also. Let them counteract your act. And then that's when we make move, like we progress. Exactly, we progress to the next level. But when you keep doing things the same way, you will still get the same results. Nothing will change. It's just going to be negotiation after negotiation, 14 days ultimatum, 7 days, and we will keep going around the same cycle and nothing will come out of it.
You know, Rachel, just like we said it, what can the government do? Because I mean, according to the state chapter, they submitted that letter since last year, 20th of December, so automatically today makes it 2 months since they gave the letter to the government, and then they are yet to hear anything. And in as much as we're happy that they are spreading it to other bodies, not just to the civil servants over there, because it's not the civil servants that are under the union. We know that any workforce over there, apart from private operators, they're the only ones who are not under the umbrella. But then we're looking forward to seeing what they would do. I mean, taking a look at the way Niger State is precisely, and we know that the protest for hardship started in that state precisely. So that is to tell you that hunger is really, really ravaging them over there. So we hope that Governor Bago will be able to do something. Just like we said, we're looking forward to more steps. He already said they should go to the farms. I remember before then, he said he's the farmer governor, or governor farmer, however he wants to mention it, you know, just to let the people know that he felt their pain and all of that. But then beyond you telling them with words of mouth, they want to see your action. Just like you said, it's not about negotiation. I do not know what Labour mean by saying they are open to negotiation, whether negotiation by words or negotiation by action. But nevertheless, we hope that something will happen, and then we hope that they will do better. Because I keep asking the question, why don't we see government doing the right thing until the threat of a strike comes in? Then we see works left, right, and center. Presently, our tanker drivers are already on strike. So what is the government planning to do? Queues are resurfacing, and that will actually give room to people hoarding the fuel, black marketers, exploiting people, and then many other things can actually come out of that. So we hope that the government will not give room to such things that will happen. Now, still talking about a word, wage, coming from the government, we're saying that the federal government have started the payment of the wage award, which they promised federal government workers that they're going to start. And then we see some workers already saying that they are getting, because I think the wage reward came for just 2 months. So they're starting from November, backdating it to last year. And I'm happy that the wage award is actually being given to a lot of Nigerians, because a number of people are already angry. We saw even ASU are collecting their 2 months salary, which the government is owing them. But then beyond that, I hope that it gets down to every hook and cranny. And what I mean by that is I hope the local government workers can also be happy that this wage award is getting to them. Already before the government realized, it will be in April. And I don't know what the talks are concerning the main minimum wage. I do not want the government to get carried away by the wage award and then forget that the main thing is there on ground. And believing me, from the way things are going on, I really do not know. But it doesn't look like this April is visible. But then let me just give the government the benefit of the doubt that by April, workers will be able to start getting their minimum wage. Because looking at what is happening, we saw in the papers earlier in the morning where even the children of the president are coming out to say that Nigerians should be patient with the president. And believe me, right now, the last thing Nigerians want to hear is be patient. The only thing I think that makes sense to Nigerians is the fact that, you know what, you're giving us what we want. Food is available. We are secure to go to our farmlands. If the government cannot provide food for us, provide the security so that we can go and actually hustle for ourselves. We can go to the farm and plant for ourselves. Because a number of Nigerians, I mean, you made mention of the protest that took place in Ibadan yesterday. We saw where they're saying open the borders. The borders are open already. So right now the question is, what is the problem? We have our borders open and we're concerned that let us not become a dumping ground. But nevertheless, there's no food still. So what is the way forward? So with this wage award, I'm just hoping that it will put a little smile on the face, because this smile is not going to last. With the prices of commodities and goods, I do not know how far it can go. But we're looking forward to seeing what the government will do beyond just this wage award that they have given to workers to actually help them for the meantime.
This clearly is a delay tactics from the government, Sele. You're paying November wage award in January. In February, exactly. Now, this is meant to be a 6-month period of payment to civil servants to be able to ease. Now, let's not forget that this was put in mind for the Yuletide season, that is December, looking at how things usually are at that period. And then we step into January, February, because then we will be done with it by then. By March, April, we see minimum wage coming in. Now, the question is, and the concern is, you had a supplementary budget that the budget was supposed to cover for this wage award. And then you suspended it for a while because you cut down the budget of 100 billion that was to be given for that wage award. And then the question is, what did you do with the money that you cut out from the wage award? Because you had your supplementary budget, you had everything listed for what will go to that supplementary budget. We saw security taking the majority, and then now wage award, and this included even palliatives and every other thing that, you know, what states are even yet to get, by the way. But that supplementary budget was approved, and yet you still suspended the wage arrears, wage awards, and then you are now leaving the funds. What are you putting it into that is more important than solving the hardship or minimizing the hardship of the citizens in the country? Now, Sela, if I say I feel your pain, is it just my statement that shows I feel your pain, or the action?
It's your body language, the action.
Sela, is my action. You come to me, you haven't eaten. It's not me saying I feel your pain that shows I feel your pain. Is that I give you food. It's that simple. If the government of Nigeria is saying they feel our pain, it means they are supposed to not joke with these wage awards. It means they are not to joke with palliative. It means they are not to joke with whatsoever it will take for them to ease it, even if it's just a little bit. Of course, it can't do much. It's going to be a little bit. But yet we see over and over and over nothing. And now you are extending it, and that is why I call it a delayed tactics. Because if we are receiving wage award for November in February, and this you've already agreed that it's going to run for a period of time, this is a delay tactics that we know that by April, will you give the wage award together with the new minimum wage? Or are you going to stop the wage award and then give the new minimum wage, knowing that you haven't given it for November 2023 to ease the hardship of that month, to ease the hardship of December 2023, to ease the hardship for January, and then now we are in February. So what is the government trying to do? And then these are the things that just keeps showing how selfish our leaders are, because we've seen them having their arrears, their bonuses, going to watch the AFCON with government money, with taxpayers' money, that are on the street complaining of hunger. And you come and tell us you feel your pain and you're not doing anything to ease the pain. So what are we saying? It is really sad and pathetic in a lot of ways. Really difficult for you to, you know, separate your emotion with what is going on in Nigeria. But it is what it is, and then we will just hope and see if the government can really do something different concerning what is going on.
Richard, this is not the first time we're seeing government slashing certain amount that are supposed to be allocated to civil servants. And it calls for questioning. I mean, the government really need to give Nigerians proper answer. Why is it that when it comes to anything that concerns common Nigerians, we see the government play with it? And then when it comes to anything that has to do with the elite, the wealthy, our leaders, our politicians, they do not joke with that. Rachel, we made mention of the fact that what can the government do in 24 hours that they did not do? I believe there's something they can do in 24 hours. Maybe the push, they have not been pushed enough for them to actually react to certain things, because there is a push that whether you like it or not, you actually make. I mean, it didn't take the government so much for the president to come out and say, you know what, I know what is happening, and then make that pronouncement. Rachel, when the pronouncement for fuel subsidy will be removed, it only took about 3 to 4 to 5 hours for prices to change. Rachel, it didn't take that long. It wasn't even up to half a day, not to talk about a whole day. So what else? Why can't another pronouncement coming from the president also make an effect? We're still having our student loans. Students are yet to get that. We're still talking about our doctors leaving the shores of Nigeria. In fact, health workers in general, they are leaving. So if you actually have worked any of our public facilities, our hospitals, you get to know that a number of things are not going well in this country. So and that was why I mentioned earlier in the morning, it seems as if we are walking on a time bomb, and it's just a matter of time before this would blow up. And when it blow up, it was going to consume a number of people.
It will.
So I am hoping that the government is prepared. Yesterday we saw when the African Development Bank is talking about with what is happening, there is unrest coming. So I hope that the government is ready for what is coming, except if they have something to actually give Nigerians to make them to be relaxed. Because the fact that Nigerians are quiet does not mean they are stupid. So I'm just hoping that the government will realize that and will do the right thing by doing right by Nigerians and providing them all that they need, especially in regards to the wage award. And then I'm hoping by April that we'll see the minimum wage being actualized. Now, in the midst of all this hardship, we're saying that some people have taken it upon themselves to hoard food. And we're saying that custom in Kano State were able to actually seize about, think about a number of trucks that were actually with food on their way around Jigawa and Axis. They were actually leaving the state. And then where we're seeing a number of governors are trying to see how we can just have food within, nobody should leave. And then some people are even planning to even sell the food outside the country to other, I think, Niger or so. So now you begin to ask questions, what really is the problem? Because I made mention yesterday, Rachel, that here in Plateau State, for you to even get to see tomatoes with your eye, it's difficult.
It is.
Except you have a brother that knows somebody that is a farmer that will help you protect that tomatoes with all.
You need connection for tomatoes.
You need connection to actually have food. We saw with that pure water, a sachet is 15 naira. We're seeing that Senate are trying to talk with manufacturers of cement to drop down the price. So a number of things, you just can't place your finger exactly on one problem. Customers are trying their best. We're seeing that cars are still at the port. They have not cleared because of the fee of clearance and all of that. Now again, we are having the issue of food that we are trying to keep and actually survive. So people are actually trying to take it outside the country. So we're saying that customers have actually seized that truck. And I hope that we'll see more proactive measures to make sure that we don't see food leaving while we are still struggling to have something to eat within the country.
I believe this is a clear example of when certain things become a problem, because the border of neighboring countries like Niger, Chad, and all of that were closed precisely for Niger with the coup and the military junta and all of that. And then these are people trying to smuggle fruit through the Jigawa Axis border and all of that into Niger, and then we are seeing custom intercepting. And then the challenge here is that, of course, we can't sit down and say smuggling is okay. But this is as a result of closing a border and then people who survive by trade. Because when you look at the items in that were seized and gotten and all of that, it wasn't really thousands of bags of grain. This was just
50 bags. I think 2 bags of meat and then 2 bags
exactly,
of,
and then over 100 plus cartons of fish
course,
and all of that. Yeah, so you find out that they are selective goods being smuggled out. And either way, I'm not saying that the number is too small to affect the hunger in the country. No, it will go a long way for some few individuals looking at our consumption and all of that. At the same time, we know that there are people, Sele, who make ends meet with this export to neighboring country, where we saw tomato traders in that side saying they are for perishable goods, vegetables, and all of that, losing billions of naira in that period of time. And then now, whether we like it or not, everything affects the economy directly, indirectly, in whatsoever way. Be it that we are having food insecurity and that we can't take food out. Now, there is somebody that needs to make an income without exportation to be able to buy food. So eventually, even if that person has food available, might not have the purchasing power because he's not able to do business. And we can link that to so many decisions that is taken up. We can link that to the sachet ban of alcoholic beverages that we're seeing the TUC kicking so hard that it will lead to the loss of 5.5 million jobs and billions of naira being lost and all of that. And we will just understand that the economy of the country is just, you can't place your hand on one thing, because on another side this is important, on another side someone is at the losing end of it, on another side someone is just benefiting from it and all of that. But most importantly, if we have now ECOWAS being able to sit down and say, you know what, we saw that the meeting is going to happen very soon concerning what, because we can't lose ties with these bordering countries, then we will be able to not have smugglers taking our food. And what I believe is also, rather, we should at this period of time say what food is now illegal to take out of the country and live in the country is important. We have grains like maize, Sele, they shouldn't leave the country whatsoever, because we are seeing that this is one of the reason why almost everything is expensive, be it the eggs and all of that. So we should be able to say, okay, you know what, at this point in time, these are the grains that if you have it, you cannot take it out or keep, and all of that, and let trading be more easier, because whether we like it or not, other states need this food because they do not grow it on their own soil. So there's need for trade. We can't just say we cannot because there's food security. It will be detrimental for others and hunger more for other people.
Well, we look forward to seeing more measures. My only concern is the fact that anytime we have government setting policies, the people are supposed to uphold those policies are not actually there. We know customers are trying their best, but then we are hoping to see other people as well helping to keep to that. And just like you rightly mentioned, the fact that, the fact that they have actually, is not much, but then it can go to a long extent to actually do 1 or 2 things to help people to survive. Well, thank you so much, Richard, for doing this with me. And also thank you to our viewers, thank you to our supporters for keeping a date with us again on Nigeria Now. Until we come tomorrow, do have a blessed day ahead.